my eye. Through the mist, my surprise shone light from distant northern skies. At that point, I realized I don't know where it comes from, but I know it's okay. If this is all an illusion, then I'm willing to play.
Welcome to the Quantum Guide Show, interviews with awakened masters as they share their quantum work with you. The Quantum Guide Show is produced by Karen Holton, creator of the 9 Steps to Quantum Health Transformation, a free 9-step online course to give you the tips and resources you need to thrive. Karen lost and continues to keep off 178 pounds of surplus body weight as she made her dreams come true. Whether you are awakening to the ascension process or simply want a wiser, more efficient lifestyle, this program is for you. No strings attached. The Quantum Guide Show is brought to you in part by Zendome's Orgonite, Karen's unique brand of orgone generators, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. Find out how orgone generators work and what they can do for you. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out Karen's current selection, only available from her website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Quantum Health Transformation. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show. Today in episode 79, I'm going to share more from my free online program called Quantum Health Transformation. As I share from step 8, we discover various grounding techniques for the body, the mind, and the soul. And we pick up where we left off in step 9. Now, you may want to follow the link that's posted below to see episode 76, where I go into great detail about my healing journey and also quantum health transformation step 9. Step 9 lays the foundation for step 8. And once you've practiced identifying your shadow and become aware of the traits that you wish to diminish and others that you would like to strengthen, you're ready to start establishing some new core belief systems. And this will serve you much better in life. So let's get started. I'm all excited to share this information with you. And of course, it's all available. The Quantum Health Transformation Program. There's a playlist on my YouTube channel, and there is also a whole section of my website. Just click the free resources. Actually, I'll show you a little bit later where you can find this exciting and interesting and very vital program that's absolutely free, no strings attached, for you to enjoy and to share. That's a big part of it. So last time, as I mentioned, I presented step 9, but I also showed you some images of myself before and after my spiritual awakening. And because it made such a dramatic effect on just the way I looked, never mind the way I felt and everything else. And I also gave you a little bit of a walkthrough of my website, so you can be familiar with it before you go check it out. And I do encourage you all to go check it out and see what applies to you. Of course, not everything will, because we're all different. So anything that doesn't tickle your fancy, don't worry about it. Just grab onto that which you resonate with and that does it for you. So I'm going to screen share and use the PDF that's available on the website for step 8. Now, step 8 continues, as I mentioned before, where we left off with step 9. So in step 9, we learn how to use the Nubby Ball tool, and we also took a look at our shadow self, why we want to examine our shadow self, what do we do with it once we find it, all that kind of information. So now that we've found the shadow, and we're getting familiar with some traits that we have that maybe we're not that crazy about, or just don't work that well anymore in modern society, or with our current health issues or whatever. And so now we're going to, now that we understand that and we've done that work, now we can move on to developing some of our core belief systems. And our core belief systems really have a tremendous effect on our worldview, opportunities that are available to us that we might have been missing. It's very, very important to do this kind of work. The first 3 steps, step 9, 8, and 7, are all about opening your mind so that you can start to think differently. And of course, from that, you will get different results. And the first part of step 8, we're going to get into grounding. What does that mean? How can we ground our physical bodies, our minds, our thinking, and also our spirit or our soul, depending on how you look at it? This is very, very vital and crucial that we do this kind of work post haste. It's important. Now, for those of you who are listening to the audio podcast, perhaps on Apple or Spotify or iHeartRadio or Spreaker, please do go check out the videos that have the audio and the visual, either from Odyssey, YouTube, or my Telegram channel, because you're going to want to see the images, both from the last lesson, which was in episode 76, and the episode today. So I'm just going to screen share with you. Oop, wrong button. That's me. Wrong button, Karen. Let's have a look. Okay. So the lesson from last week, as I mentioned, was step 9, black. Now, each one is loosely affiliated also with our chakra system. And we have a chakra below our feet that I call black. That may or may not be the same how other people call it, but that's how I call it. And then we move up into red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. And then there's another one that's above your head that I call white. And altogether, this makes up the 9 steps to quantum health transformation, but it also helps you to strengthen and work with your chakra systems one step at a time. So as I mentioned before, today is step 8, red, grounding and birth of new core belief systems. So grounding is super important for your root chakra, super important. We need to ground to the earth, and there's a number of interesting ways that we can do that. Now, some of this material you may have heard before, and that's not a problem. I'm just presenting it perhaps in a slightly different light, or just repeating it because it's so important. This stuff never gets old. This stuff never wears out. This stuff will never let you down. Throughout thousands of years, people have been doing the grounding techniques that I'm going to teach you today with great success. And we live in a kind of an era where everybody takes a pill for everything. Everybody wants instant success. And quite often we get out of something what we put into it. And so I really encourage you to come back and watch this again once you have watched it through the first time. And of course, visit my website and check out all the information there. So we'll just go on to, here we are, my website, www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com, where you can find just tons of free resources. A lot of them are podcasts that you can either just listen to or you can watch that give you the information as I produce it and create it and get it out there for everybody. So again, this is grounding and the birth of our core belief systems. So yeah, that's the other thing I guess I should mention. There are at least 2 videos on my website, besides obviously the one I'm doing today. I generally do a slideshow presentation, which I narrate just in case there are folks out there who are not able to read. but I also have it in printed form for those who perhaps can't. I'm getting mixed up here. I wanted it to be in a format that people who are hearing impaired or visually impaired could still benefit from the program. And if you are fortunate enough to have both, then you'll get it even better. You'll get the information even better. But I've presented this information in descending order. So we started with step 9, that built the foundation for step 8, which will build the foundation for step 7, and on it goes that way. So just so you know, when you visit my website, there's at least 2 videos. There's the slideshow, and then there's a live presentation where I'm in a teaching situation where I'm teaching other people, or perhaps just made a separate podcast where I'm teaching you, the viewer, on how to use this program. And it's not linear, so don't expect things to start with 1 and end at 9. This is the opposite. You start at 9 and you work your way back to 1. The other thing I want to mention is I received the whole program in a download, and it took me a couple of years to actually downstep it into common English. But I believe that ultimately, regardless of my spiritual sources for this information, that it actually comes from the Living Library, also known as the Akashic Records. And I'm not some kind of a magician or scientist. I'm just an ordinary person sharing what I've learned with you. So this system of quantum health transformation works really well for me, but you must synthesize the information and take only that which serves you. And it is my hope that at the very least, you will at least be motivated to go within and find your own inner wisdom. And there is an original quantum health transformation program. There's the 2.0, which is out and on YouTube and on my website. And I'm currently working on the 3.0 version. And you can share any of this material under the fair use clause. I just ask that you please give me credit. Let people know that you got this information from me, from a company, and from Quantum Health Transformation. And if you acknowledge me, I have no problem with you using it as much as you want, however you want. Include it, in your own podcasts or in your own teaching programs, depending on what you do out there. And just use it. That's what it's here for. Yeah, there's a picture of me. That's actually my aura. That picture was taken around the same time that I started having my ET experiences. And it's interesting how this is the actual color and scope of my aura, at least what it was at the time, which I thought was quite interesting. So this is a disclaimer. You'll also find it in many of the podcasts and lessons that I have prepared for you. Just letting you know that this information is for educational purposes only. It's never meant to substitute for diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a qualified licensed medical professional. And it hasn't, neither my teachings or my products, none of them have been tested by the FDA or the Canadian Food Inspection Agency or the Department of Health. And so I just recommend that you do your own research before starting any kind of a new program and before you purchase anything, including services and products from my website, that you do your own research and just decide for yourself whether or not you want to use this program, other teachings or products or services from my website. I just want to make that clear right from the get-go. So getting on with step 8, there are 3 kinds of grounding for health. There's spiritual, environmental, and personal grounding. Spiritual grounding includes gratitude and appreciation and accepting unconditional love from people and other living things. Love is what it's all about. Love can heal anything. Love can fix anything. And love can really help us to be grounded on a very spiritual level. Now, on an environmental or physical level, this includes spending time in nature and the use of orgone generators, or orgonite, as it's commonly known, indoors. And for those of you who aren't familiar with orgone generators, I'll talk a little bit about that. And then there's personal grounding, which very much has an effect on your emotional self as well as your physical self. And this includes self-grooming, stretching, and of course, your posture. So let's take a look at spiritual grounding. And what I recommend to people is no matter how bad you feel, just start where you're at right now. I can remember when I was going through a very rough time, not that long ago, I actually had a very badly botched surgery, and I had extensive brain injury and horrible health and horrible physical symptoms, and I was feeling really miserable. But I was also doing my shadow work, and so I felt emotionally really dismal as well. I was in a really hard place. I couldn't work. I was out having to collect wine bottles and beer cans and stuff out of dumpsters just to be able to afford food. That's how bad it was. And I didn't have very much feelings of gratitude at that point, I'll tell you right now. But what I used to do is I would go out into the world and I would just look for things to be grateful for. I'd look at the sky and notice how beautiful it was. Or if it wasn't so beautiful, I'd go, yeah, but I know the sun is still shining on the other side of the clouds. I just became kind of an optimist junkie. And everywhere I went, I looked for positive things to appreciate and to be grateful for. So I recommend that you think of and look around for things to appreciate. And this is, of course, easier to do when we feel positive. But when we're in a negative mood, just empty your mind and find a bit of a neutral space. Do some deep breathing. Comfort yourself. You know, I often wrap myself in a really fuzzy blanket just to get that beautiful, soothing texture and warmth on my body. And just from that neutral place, just start to look at things and feel appreciation. It could be your house plants, or if you have house plants, it could be anything. Just look for things to appreciate, because we all have things to be grateful for. And even if your circumstances are wretched, as it was for me when I was started doing this work, of course, it's an ongoing, always doing it. Go outside and consider the sky. Now, appreciate that even when you can't see the sun or the stars, they're always there on the other side of the clouds or the gloom or the chemtrails nowadays, I guess, is more appropriate to say. And from this point, consider pleasant things. And soon you'll find something to appreciate and be grateful for. These are just not empty words. These things really work. They are a form of technology that's very grounding and very uplifting, but they only work when you actually try doing them. And it's amazing how you just give an inch and the universe comes in and provides a mile. It's so amazing if we just try what we can succeed at and what we can find. This process puts you into a positive alignment with everything, and soon you'll experience a gratitude snowball effect and you'll feel a lot better. Grounding your soul this way will attract good things into your life, and it's been my experience that genuine gratitude works like a magic wand. The world around me seems to change as though jumping from one-dimensional reality to another. This can even be if I'm in a bit of a foul mood and I go out into the world. You know, at the time I had a little car, maybe I couldn't find parking spaces. I couldn't find what I was looking for at the store. You know, I started off in a negative headspace and everything played out throughout the day in the negative. Other days I went out where I had done my breathing and my appreciation and my gratitude, and I went out into the world and everything was easy. I could find parking real close to the door. I'd go into the store and find exactly what I want, or even had perfect strangers come up to me and say, "Can I help you find something?" They didn't even work at the store. It just was amazing how it happened. And again, that puts you into a positive alignment. And when you start thinking about what you really want in your life, what your heartfelt desires are, that is the best way to attract that kind of abundance into your life. Also, accept unconditional love from other beings, including pets. They're very grounding to the soul. Also, during times of isolation, many have benefited greatly from accepting unconditional love from perfect strangers who sometimes live a long ways away through social media. Some of my best friends I have met through social media, and they live on the other side of the world, but they're more encouraging and inspiring to me than perhaps my own blood relatives and perhaps my neighbors or perhaps the society that I'm living in. So don't ever underestimate the power of friendship and unconditional love that can be anywhere, because you see, love operates on a frequency that is not hindered by time and space. And so it's really, really important. And there are many psychics and healers who send out their love daily. Some even offer a daily transformational email message. You know, one of my favorites is called TUT, T-U-T. And the guy started out, his name is Mike Dooley. He started out selling inspirational t-shirts, and then he ended up creating the messages from the universe. Every day I get a message from the universe that just says, right on, Karen, you're doing great. You're looking good. People love you. Everything you want is happening for you. And all that positivity every single day has really, really helped me, especially when I was going through tough times. So their positive influence travels the fourth and the fifth dimensions to our world. So time and space do not hinder the unconditional love that they project. So I don't know, just accept unconditional love from wherever it comes from. And you might be surprised. You know, back when I was having a rough time, I guess I was a bit of a train wreck, and perfect strangers used to come up to me and say, would you like me to pray for you? And I always said, yeah, sure. And I let them pray for me. Why not? Prayer is so powerful. And these people were willing to take a few minutes out of their day to pray for me. Why not let them? It didn't matter what religion they belonged to or denomination. Love is love, and prayer is also love. So nothing shares love like a warm, furry friend. I can't stress that enough. Animals are so unconditionally loving. I know cats can be a bit finicky, but they still are amazing. I mean, they're little killing machines. They could rip your face off if they wanted to, but they don't. They retract their claws and they let you pet them. And occasionally, when you're lucky, they'll roll over and let you scrub their bellies. They're so beautiful. And you know, felines were highly valued in ancient Egypt and other ancient societies, because we found out now in our modern times with different imaging techniques that they actually emit a grounding and healing frequency when they purr. So every time you make your cat purr and make it happy and feel loved, it pays you back in spades with all kinds of frequencies that actually help to soothe you and heal your body. And of course, dogs are pretty amazing too. Dogs are just amazing. They're not as finicky as cats. They're very devoted to their families. And wow, sometimes it seems like people, because they're stressed or whatever reason, they're not that nice in society. Turn to a pet, turn to a furry, beautiful little animal. And if you can't find yourself a live companion, hug a tree. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm a big tree hugger. It's so soothing. When you're out in nature, or you hug a tree, or you're working in the garden, or you're taking care of your house plants, there's just an incredible ambience of calm that comes from that. All living things are very grounding to the human soul. And this leads us to environmental grounding. So I guarantee you will feel better and more grounded when you're outdoors. Physical contact with earth, grass, water, sand, etc. restores the natural frequency of our bodies. The resonant frequency of a human being is about 70 megahertz when insulated, but it matches the resonant frequency of the earth about 7, maybe to 12 megahertz when we make physical contact with it. Technology unnaturally raises our resonant frequency to levels we're not able to cope with, and only by dropping to a level which matches the earth do we begin to heal and recover. So get outside and make contact as often as you possibly can. Now, another thing I want to mention is I live in Alberta, Canada, and for 6 months out of the year, it's cold outside. It's too cold to even run around barefoot in the grass. So there are two other things you can use if you're an indoor kind of person, and one of them is the orgone generators. And I actually have some disc-shaped orgone generators available on my website that you can take into the bath with you. So what I recommend that you do in the wintertime is to have a very salty bath, Epsom salts, sea salt. You can use Himalayan pink salt, anything like that. You can add baking soda to it, whatever you want. What happens is the water becomes very conductive. We're electrical or energetic in nature. And the bathtub and the water is also connected to the grounding, which is the plumbing of everywhere where we live is grounded to the earth via the plumbing system, which runs down deep into the actual earth. So when you're having a nice, warm, salty bath and you take some orgone generators in with you, you're producing healing frequencies and grounding to the deep earth without having to go outside and put your feet in the snow. Well, actually grass under the snow. And I've made some podcasts about that. It's called The Therapeutic Bath. I've made 3 different videos. 2 of them are with guided meditation. No, I've made 4 videos, sorry. 2 of them come with guided meditations that are lovely to listen to while you're in the bath or just relaxing and breathing, or when you're outside, bathing in the sun. It's up to you. So getting on to orgone generators, consider acquiring grounding devices and buy some orgone generators, also not known as orgonite. Now you can make it yourself. You can buy them from other people. I have my own unique brand called Zendome's Orgonite. It's a little bit different because I've covered specific bases. It's handmade. They are handmade. They're beautiful. They're made by a friend of mine, so I know they're not made in a sweatshop or by slave labor. And I only have so many available because right now I don't have anyone to create them for me. The ones that I have were created by a couple of friends of mine who are no longer available. So my personal brand, as I mentioned, is called Zendome's Orgonite, and it will produce a healing resonant frequency of about 786,000 kilohertz, which is beneficial to people, pets, and even your plants. There are multiple health benefits reported from regularly keeping orgonite nearby. The crystals are under pressure, so they become piezoelectric, and they emit their specialized healing vibrations because they form an inaudible symphony of healing frequencies, which clear all of the chakras as they relax the body. The Zendome's orgone generators interact with the natural crystals, also known as salts, that are found in our fluids and in our tissues. And each design is unique, handmade, and as I mentioned before, ethically sourced. So this is not, these crystals are not encased in plastic and they're not encased in glass. They're encased in organic resin. And organic resin is actually made out of microscopic pieces of crystal, and it's in a solvent. And so once these are created, the solvent evaporates and leaves a very inert, clean product that doesn't outgas. And as they are curing, each one shrinks and puts pressure on the crystals inside. And that's what causes the piezoelectric effect. And you can Google piezoelectric, or you can watch any one of numerous videos and podcasts I've made about how these actually work on an electrical and subatomic even level. So I really encourage you to check that out to find out more about them. But as I mentioned before, you can make them yourself. You can buy them from other people. I guess I'll just get on to the next page, and then I'll tell you later what another thing that makes my orgone generators really unique. So they dramatically diminish the harmful effects of EMF radiation, that's electromagnetic frequencies, which are produced by all man-made technologies. So it doesn't matter whether it's something you plug into the wall or it's cordless, it still emits these harmful frequencies that our bodies are not equipped to deal with. And the orgone generators actually diminish the harmful effects. What they do is they don't block the EMF. What they do is they absorb it and they retune it into healthful frequencies. That's how they work. They amplify crystal healing vibrations. So the crystals that are inside, whatever their vibration frequency is, it amplifies that and puts that into your healing environment. They purify the atmosphere and they produce negative ions, and they also stimulate positive mood. Orgonite is made by combining quartz crystals, other life-enhancing crystals, along with a mix of organic resin with metal shavings. And this produces a compound which attracts and converts electromagnetic frequency, EMF, and other negative energies by retuning them into new and more positive frequencies. And when orgonite is within range of a source of DOR, or negative energy, it will efficiently and continuously transform it into positive energy as it's being transmitted. This essentially creates positive energy transmitters out of any and all emitters of harmful negative energy. And as I mentioned before, that's like cell phones, Wi-Fi, corded and cordless devices. Now, if you do your research, there's also a few documentaries out there of people who have helped change the weather patterns to the positive by what they call gifting orgonite, where they place it around cell phone towers, or they put them out and they'll actually interact with the sky. So with all this cloud seeding they're doing and chemtrailing and everything, I've actually taken my orgone generators outside and give it a bit of time. And the clouds actually, there's a little clear spot that forms above my place. And it's really quite interesting how it works. So you can do some research. You can do some research into that. Now, another thing that makes my orgone generators really different or unique is that I do a whole process with them. So my friend makes them, and then what I do is I wash them. I wash every single one, and they're also sanitized before I send them out when you order them from my website. Because a lot of people have concerns these days about germs and viruses and things like that. So they'll be clean when they arrive at your home. But I also wash them when I first get them, and then I smudge them with sacred smoke. I put them out into the sunshine to energize the crystals. I play high frequency music to them. And then I do a process that I call quantum entanglement. And you can find videos on how I do this, exactly how I do this, in case you want to do this to some of your sacred objects or things like crystals and orgone generators. You can find that. I have a playlist on my website, and I also have a playlist on my YouTube channel. So, Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Oh, yeah, the quantum entanglement. So, what I do is I actually do a ritual, sacred ritual, where I pull energy up from the earth, from the center of earth. I pull energy down from the heavens above and from the sun, and I mix it. I pool it within my body, and I mix it in my heart chakra. And then I send it down my arms through my hands, and then I use a wand, and my wand is clear quartz and rose quartz. And I send that energy, and through visualization and a bit of trance work, what I do is I actually entangle all my orgone generators. And I always include orgone generators and crystals from that I've entangled this way in the past, and any new ones that I get, so that they're all connected to each other. And that helps them to be more powerful, but also when they go out into the world, they're forming an invisible grid that actually covers the earth, because they're all entangled on an energetic level, and they're all connected to each other. And then that spreads this beautiful positive energy also environmentally, cross borders and anywhere where you might live on the planet. So I'm pretty excited about that. So you can go to my website. I'll show you actually when I'm done this PDF. It isn't too long, and I'll show you some of the different orgone generators that I have on my website that are still available. So that takes us into personal grounding. This image here is showing how the energy, it flows in the left hand through the body, comes out the right hand, but it also comes in the feet, out the feet, it goes all around the body. You can see this sort of Kundalini symbol here. It lights up your chakras, and this energy we're always producing it, and it's always flowing all the time. So personal grounding includes self-grooming, stretching, and posture. We are a grooming species, and we require daily massage and movement of the body in order to clear our energy pathways, align our chakras, and strengthen our flow of energy. And that energy is called chi, is also called prana, it's also called 0 point, and it can even be called Holy Spirit, because it makes all kinds of things possible: healing, raising our awareness. If we're into the ascension, wanting to ascend to be a higher being, it's all included in that. And this is foundational for improving the health of the body, the mind, and the soul. So self-grooming involves massaging unprocessed fruit and or vegetable source oils combined with organic essential oils into the skin. So anything you put on your body, 20% of your blood supply is traveling through your skin. And anything you put on your body, there are elements of it that are being picked up by your internal circulatory system and lymphatic system. And so you want to use unprocessed fruit and vegetable source oils. So that would not mean canola oil or soybean oil or anything like that that's highly, highly processed. It means using something like perhaps grapeseed oil, perhaps olive oil, perhaps avocado oil, perhaps even oil that's taken from the pits of apricots, things like that. So you want to use a really clean and, if possible, organic sourced fruit or vegetable oil. And then you want to add a little bit of essential oil to that, and then kind of rub your hands together in a circular pattern. And then you start at the top of your head and you work down. So you just put a tiny drop on your finger, put it on the top of your head, which would be your crown chakra, and just massage that down your head, down your face, down the back of your neck, down to your main body part. And then you want to massage from your hands to your elbows, up to your shoulders, and your feet up to the hips, and the trunk towards the heart. So you do the trunk part of your body last, And you just massage with little bits of this oil that you keep dabbing and putting into your hands, and then going in a circular motion like this to energize it and combine it. And then you want to do your torso, and there you want to work your way towards the heart. So from your neck to your heart, from the top of your legs and your hips up towards your heart, from your back around your sides towards your heart, and use small circular motions on the hands and the elbows and the shoulders and the feet and the knees and the hips, which would be all kind of the joints. And then use longer stroking motions for your forearms, your upper arms, your lower legs, and your thighs. This is extremely soothing for your body and your mind, and it's a great way to expand self-love and self-healing. So if you live with a partner, you might want to have them help you with it. You could help them. Very, very good for you. But you can also do this if you're alone. You can do this for yourself. And it's recommended that you start your day by doing this every single day. It also helps you to detoxify and just really revs up all your energy centers, so you just feel amazing afterwards. We are a grooming species, and I can't emphasize that enough. And in today's society and insanity of lockdowns and things like that, it's really not very good for us. So we have to have these countermeasures. Also, stretching unblocks the energy centers, and it stimulates circulation while preparing the body for movement. Techniques like yoga, tai chi, and qigong seem to work best, but any stretching is better than none, as long as it does not cause you any pain. So you want to be very mindful and present in your body while you're stretching, and stretching should feel very, very good, and at worst, a little tingly, but never should it cause you any pain. If it's causing you pain, you're not ready to do that pose, you're not ready to do that method of stretching, there are other things that you can do. So you can mimic the way a pet stretches, or the natural flow of the trees and the water. I mean the wind through the trees, or the flow of water. This is also very beneficial and grounding. And if you're not used to a stretching routine, you can try stretching your body first thing in the morning within the comfort of your own bed. Make yourself as comfortable as possible when you start with a stretching program. And stretching also helps your body posture to realign itself. Here's a picture of people and all different animals doing stretching poses. And it's really quite interesting how they are so close to yoga postures, and yet nobody has ever taught a class to wolves or lions or foxes or kitty cats or polar bears. And all of this helps us to realign our chakras so that the flow of energy is better and more abundant, and it sure makes us feel good. And look at all these happy faces. None of these little beasties would be as happy if they weren't able to stretch. This is the chakra system. I use this a lot in my teachings. We start off with red, which is actually corresponding to the lesson we're doing now, which has to do with survival. And so we really, it's really important to ground our root chakra every single day to the earth, one way or another, because we can lose that so easily. Just watch the alternative news or the mainstream news and see how fast you can lose excuse me, your connection to the earth. And this puts us right back in a nice balanced starting point. There's the sacral chakra, which is color-coded to orange. And this has to do with reproduction and our sexual urges. And then there is yellow, which is the solar plexus. This has to do with power, but it also has to do with very powerful emotions like anger, things like that. Then there's the heart chakra, which governs love. So once you get these all flowing freely up to the green or the heart chakra, it's not that hard to proceed up to the crown. But that base work of really getting ourselves grounded, and grounded within as well as grounded without is really important place to start. Once we get to the throat, that's expression, our throat chakra, so we can start speaking our truth. But on strengthening these other chakras will help us to actually find our truth before we can start speaking it. Then there's the third eye, which is our perceptual arena. And that is also these are all technology, very powerful technology. Our third eye also governs our telepathic or psychic gifts. And it also corresponds to our pineal gland, which really helps us to be able to do things like time travel and contacting our higher guides. So that would actually come through the crown chakra. So the energy is driven up through to the crown chakra, which then corresponds to our higher self, our inner guru, our spiritual guides, all of that. But you can't do any of that unless you start from the bottom and you work your way up, similar to the Quantum Health Transformation Program. So another thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to is posture. It's super important for health. And when we carry our bodies physically in alignment, our energy does not get pinched off and it flows freely. And to correct my posture, I followed the advice of a dance instructor who recommended that I simply raise my sternum as often as possible and keep it held high. This not only improved my posture, but it increased my self-esteem too. I look and I feel more confident, and I certainly can breathe deeper and more comfortably. And there are oodles of instructions on how to do self-massage, stretching, and correct posture on the internet. And I advise you to experiment until you find what works really well for you. So the other thing about posture is you may want to go see somebody who is a body alignment specialist. So this might be a chiropractor, or this might be someone who does what they call rolfing. It's up to you. There's so many different ways of fixing this. You know, when I went to mainstream medicine, because my neck was really bothering me and I was getting a bit of a curve to my upper back and my spine, they just recommended I tuck my chin in and pull my head back. Man, that put so much stress on my neck, and it just made everything worse. But when I learned to raise my sternum, guess what happens? My head automatically shifts to a better alignment, and my shoulders are then pulled back so that my little wings on the back are closer together, and it just corrects the whole thing without any stress. And the more often you do this, the easier it gets. So I usually do it when I'm out having a walk. I just consciously am aware of my body. I raise my sternum, my shoulders automatically drop and go back, and my head goes into a more correct position. So this is just how I do it, but you can do it how you want to do it. Here's a picture of our it's not our heart chakra, but it's the torus field that's generated by our hearts. We are very, very powerful people. And that's another reason why we want to be in contact with other living things, because then we enhance each other's torus field. It becomes more vibrant, more lively, and definitely gives us more energy. And when we take time to ground, stretch, and groom, we clear and we line up our chakras, which strengthens our heart's torus field. A vibrant heart torus field improves our health and brings us into alignment with our desires for a more comfortable, successful existence. It is at the heart of manifesting that which we desire. Our heart torus field radiates outward for at least 10 feet in the third dimensional reality and much further on the fourth and the fifth dimensional levels, where we are all connected. Heal yourself, and you literally heal each other and heal the world. And for more information, please Google the Heart Math Institute, and you'll just see all the scientific experiments they've done to prove that this field is absolutely real. So now that we've talked about grounding, It's time for us to move into the birth of new core belief systems. So let's assume that you've read or watched the Quantum Health Transformation Step 9 videos, and that you've already done some light shadow integration work. This is so important. I do not recommend that you move on to Step 8 until you've done Step 9. You need to find out who you are, who you really are, what your whole self is really up to. So once you've done that, you're now in touch with some of your icky aspects or attributes, and you're also in touch with some of your, your higher attributes as well. Your goodness, your kindness, your patience, but also your impatience and your not so kindness and things like that. And you kind of need to do an inventory of what makes you you. Now, you don't have to share this with anybody. This can be private and personal. And it can and often does involve some of the dark night of the soul. So, but you want to do this kind of work. You really do. And all the reasons were explained in Quantum Guide Show episode 76, and the link will be in the description below. So after you've done that, you come up with a bit of a plan on how you want to engineer and construct your own life. And so you want to make a list of what your new attributes, the ones that you want to strengthen, or the ones you don't have, but you want to have. So if you're someone who has no patience at all, and you realize it's important and you want to start developing some patience, that would be on your list. So you want to consider these new attributes that you wish to emerge from yourself and the qualities that you already possess, but you wish to strengthen. Approach without judgment, as though you are cafeteria-style shopping for an improved sense of self. And at this point, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be really, really aware of what we're hiding in the shadows and what our positive attributes are, because we all have them. And you can quite literally go shopping cafeteria style. Oh, let me see. I want more love in my life. I want more self-discipline in my life. I want more patience in my life. I know I mentioned patience a lot because that was a big one for me. I mean, self-control hinges on patience. Patience is so important. But you just kind of decide, what is it that you want? What is it that you don't want? Maybe what you have on your tray is impatience. You got no patience for anybody. You can't stand being around certain kind of people. Maybe we have other things hidden in there. It could be elements of racism. It could be all kinds of stuff. Maybe we don't like fat people, like on and on and on it goes. So you could take those things off your tray and put them back on the shelf and just work on the things that we want to be. So at this point, all we really want to do is decide, what is it that we want? Who do we want to be? What do we want to be? Because it's our choice. That's free will. And it's so, so important. So once you have your positive attributes listed, frequently meditate on the qualities as you do your grounding exercise, and prayer also works well. So you can pray to whatever you believe in, universal consciousness, God, goddess, it doesn't matter, and pray to have help to strengthen these positive attributes. You want to be a better person. Why? Because we want to be the change we want to see in the world. Now, the other thing we can do is, while we're meditating, we can spend some time just visualizing what does our new life, what would it look like? What kind of a person do we really want to be? And once you accept your whole self, work at loving yourself unconditionally. That's a big part of getting out of the dark night of the soul. Self-forgiveness and loving yourself unconditionally, just the way you are, bumps and warts and all. Think of yourself as a younger, less experienced being in need of guidance. Now is the time to develop an internal parent who can guide the younger version of you. And I mean this quite literally. I had to do it. I just didn't really know how to take care of myself, to be totally honest, until quite a few years into my life, as I was getting older, it finally dawned on me, I need a parent. I thought, well, I better create my own because that's my responsibility to do for myself. And it's quite amazing. It's also tied into getting connected with the inner guru, getting in touch with the Akashic records, getting in touch with our higher self, getting in touch with our subconscious. It's all part of it. And it's all up to you to take responsibility. Nobody else has that job. They're busy looking after themselves. This is your job for you to do what you need to do for you. So now's the time to develop that internal parent. And why you create it is so that it can guide the younger version of you, which is within. This requires you to practice self-love and discipline. Think about what a good parent might look like. Who do you know who's a good parent that you would consider a good parent? And take a look at their teaching and training styles and start applying some of that to yourself. And remain non-judgmental and be very patient with yourself. So that's the other thing, like I really like ice cream and I don't eat ice cream, haven't for years and years because it's not good for me. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't add to my health. Now, maybe if I could find some absolutely pure, unsweetened, kind of fresh from the cow cream, maybe, but that's not available where I live. And I live in Alberta, which is supposed to be the beef center of Canada. But boy, trying to find natural, healthy, not farm factory products is pretty much a big challenge. But anyway, enough about me and my food issues. I think you got the point. You need to be gentle with yourself. You have an inner child, and your inner child needs you to be a good parent to yourself. That's the other thing too. I may not feel like going for a walk, but I'm going to take myself for a walk. Why? Because it's super good for me and it really feels good. And I feel really good after I've done it. So it's something positive I can do for myself. And there's millions of things. You decide what you need and what you don't need. And I know you've heard a lot about this over the years, but positive affirmations. Write out positive affirmations that you like and post them in conspicuous places. Your subconscious will accept them, even if you're not actively reading or repeating them to yourself. Just keep them in visual range. And make use of the granddaddy of all affirmations. I love and accept myself unconditionally right now. Bumps and warts and all. I love myself. I accept myself. Even that dirty, rotten scoundrel that I keep seeing when I'm doing my shadow work, I gotta love it unconditionally too and accept it because that's part of human growth. So, whoops, did I go too far? Nope. So in conclusion, subscribe to daily reminders like Mike Dooley's TUT or Messages from the Universe and quotes from, say, Abraham Hicks. These two resources have helped to inspire me very much. So remember, ground first, then affirm new core beliefs about yourself. And I recommend the following free resources to assist you with this step. There's the free resources tab on my website. There's my published articles, my quantum health blog, and my audio podcasts. And I also recommend my professional services found under the shop tab of my website. Now, this lesson's been taken from the PDF for step 8, and you'll notice it has embedded links. So all you have to do is click the links and it takes you directly to the information. So I'm going to stop sharing there for now. And I am going to just quickly skip over to my website. Sorry, I'm just looking for my website. I know it's here somewhere. Oh yes, I have to open this and go into my website. Here we go. And Sorry, folks. I don't know why technology is not something super easy and fluid for me, but I am doing my best. So let's go back to screen share. And here it is. Okay, so here's my website. You'll see a pop-up that says that if you subscribe to my newsletter, which is electronic, you can get 10% off any regular priced item from my shop. And then down here, I've got a little banner that you can dismiss, and letting people know that all products are sanitized prior to shipping. But also, actually, up until the end of this month, I have a free gift of a free orgone generator with every order placed over $100. And the free gift is randomly selected and automatically added to your order. So when you come up to my website, you'll see this banner that goes across here. I talk a little bit about my intention. There's links to my orgone generators, my vital services, my free resources, and of course, the 9 steps to quantum health transformation. I often include, oh no, this video was removed by the uploader. Well, we're going to have to work on that. I usually put a video where I've been guest on somebody else's show. Along the side, you can click on any of these. You want to take a look at the alien implant remedy kits I have. I also have Evil Be Gone, people who are troubled by or suspect that they might be troubled by alien implants, or, I guess malevolent or deleterious spiritual forces. I have products for that. I have my Zendomes Organite, quantum health, comfort crystals, free resources, vital services, and more about me. So for this, I'm just going to go up to the shop and show you. I'm going to click right on there. There's the drop down menu, but there's also this kind of menu too. I put both in so that you can navigate depending on how good you are with technology, whether you're using your phone or whether you're using a laptop makes a bit of a difference. You'll find I'll just show you the PDF downloads first. Under the PDF downloads, I have 2 categories, the Fringe View and the Introduction to the Quantum Health Transformation Program. So this is where you're going to find the PDFs. The links are also on the Quantum Health Transformation section as well. Anyway, each one has a PDF. And you'll find that there's the one for step 8 right there. And I'm charging $3.99 Canadian each because I put a hell of a lot of work, into this program. But not only that, it costs quite a bit for me to maintain, my Zoom account, my web hosting, my domain name, antivirus software. It just goes on and on and on. And it's nice to get a little bit back to help with that. $3.99 is probably about $2.99 American, depending on your currency. So, I didn't show you the Fringe View. So in here, what I have is actually lessons from other shows that I have done. I was doing the Forbidden Transformation with Karen and Chris show, and we had some fairly involved teachings in there. You can get the PDFs. And then I also have PDFs of the very first, my very first time ever being involved in a con or a convention. And this was the Forbidden Knowledge News Convention. I broke it down into 3 parts. So if you're interested in my experiences with the Intergalactic Resettlement Program in written form, that is also available there. And then I'm not going to get into the comfort crystals. I don't have a lot of them, and they are energetically infused, as I mentioned, with the quantum entanglement for the Zendomes Organite. I may as well take you in and show you some of the vital services for those of you who haven't seen them. And generally, the procedure is you would take a look at a service, decide which one is closest to what you want, send me an email describing what your issue is. And if I think another service might be better suited to you, or if I have any questions, I'll ask you so that I've got that information ahead of time. We don't have to do that during the actual session. And I have all kinds of different services available. I also want to show you that you can click here to see my credentials and my professional references. I actually have a diploma from an accredited Canadian college, and I also have a degree in social work as a generalist, where I took, I did a lot of courses on addictions and addiction therapy, and also family counseling, which is where I draw on professionally for you to, in order to offer you these services. So I've got people who are having medical regret, which might be somebody who's had a medical procedure and they're kind of regretting it now and they need some specialized support. Shamanic guidance is a combination of support around things you can do in a practical way for your health, but also I bring in the whole shamanic or etheric or auric energetic component to it as well. And then spiritual emergency. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they have a spiritual emergency, they're actually doing their shadow work. They're in the dark night of the soul, or they've just had their eyes opened as to what's really going on in the world. And it really affects them on a spiritual level. Unfortunately, many of these people are going to the doctors and they're being prescribed medications or pharmaceuticals that actually shut down our amazing ascension and awakening process. So we just go to Ascension Coaching here. There's 6 different services. You'll notice some of the services will appear in more than one category. So I've got Ascension Coaching, Awakening Support, ET Contact Support. If you've had a negative ET experience, or if you're someone who wants to have positive ET contact, you've heard about my experiences and other experiences out there, and you want more of that in your life, I can help you with that. Lifestyle coaching, I've got medical regret also under this category, and spiritual consultation and support. So those just a few examples of some of the services. So if you know anyone, and of course there's even more under well-being, if you know anyone who would benefit from this, please do pass on my website to them. So okay, so now we're just going to go to the orgone generators, and I'm just going to give you a brief look at what I have. Oops, here we go. Zendone's Orgonite. Bit of information. Here's my special free orgone generator. If you purchase $100 or more before the end of July 31st of this year, 2022. Of course, the pets are not included. This is just examples of my pet orgone generators that are also available. And I'll probably have another special starting August 1st, but I'm not sure what it is at this point. So I've got angel-shaped orgone generators, 3-inch and 1-inch sizes, pet orgone generators. I've got pendants. A lot of people like to wear an orgone generator. I'm wearing one right now that is very powerful. It has all the different chakra stones in it, lots of copper, lots of amethyst in the back, and then the beautiful flower of life symbol. I guess this would be it right there. I've got palm and body orgonite. Now, these are quite large discs, but they're wonderful for sleeping with or placing on the body or using as massage tools. Oh, I'll just click on portable orgones. You can get an idea of what that means. These are the ones that I generally recommend you take in the tub with you. Maybe not the little angels, but this is a complete set here. Supports all the chakras. And these are shields that are very powerful for protection, prosperity, and vitality. And then there's the shungite series that are very powerful with shungite and amethyst, or shungite and citrine, or shungite with clear quartz. and shungite all by itself. And let me see, what else do I have? Yes, also I have only a couple of these left, the small orgonite half spheres. But these discs are fantastic to take into the tub with you. And then remedial kits, I only have a few left of those. They sold very quickly, and they help people depending on what your issue is. People that are, they're concerned that they have an alien implant of some sort that might be holding them back. And this works on an energetic level. So does the evil be gone. So they're a little bit different. The alien implant removal has hematite and clear quartz. It has the pyramid to place by your bed. It has the disc that you can have in your pocket or put on your body when you're meditating. There's an overall aromatherapy spray and a foot oil. And this is very similar as the one, but different essential oils, different crystals for the Evil Be Gone kit. This one has obsidian and amethyst. And then I have a few of the larger size refills for the foot oil and the body spray. And then there's a guided meditation that you do every day for a month too. When I get specials, I'll pop them into the seasonal specials. I only have a few of these left of each, but I have pendulums that are orgone generators. I've got the malachite sphere that you can roll on your body, use it as a massage tool. And malachite is fantastic for spiritual transformation, but also for wicking away pain. Got 2 wands, one's for balancing and one's for healing. The balancing one has black tourmaline and selenite, and the healing wand has clear quartz, rose quartz, and amethyst. And then I only have a few of these left, I know for sure, and that's the orgonite charging plate with the flower of life mandala. And that is like a coaster that you put your bottle of water or your glass, a cup of tea or your glass of water or whatever, fruit juice, whatever, on it. And what it does is it energizes the contents of your cup or glass and restructures the water so that it's more, and the food or whatever, so it's more bioavailable, and it just works ever so lovely. And then of course I've got my shungite collection here that I'll just quickly show you. And I've got pyramids and I have discs. I have one small pyramid, 2 large. I think I only have one left of the shungite with the double terminated AAA clear quartz crystal point. But the one that's solid shungite, I still have a few of those left. And then of course the small ones I have as well. And butterflies, transformational butterflies. These are great for putting under your pillow. They're great for just slipping into your purse, your backpack, or your pocket. You can put a magnet on the back and stick them to the fridge. Each one is for a different purpose. So I got turquoise and carnelian, turquoise with lapis lazuli, clear quartz with amethyst, tourmaline, black tourmaline with red jasper. That's fantastic for grounding. For step 8, the black tourmaline with red jasper is just fantastic. So each of these can be used also for the chakras, and they're ever so beautiful. They're quite big. They're larger than the discs, and you can check out the dimensions directly if you're interested in those. And of course, pyramids. And I think, I have 2 left. 2 kinds left. I think I've got one left of the Serenity RCA, which stands for rose quartz, clear quartz, and amethyst. It's a nice, big, more heavyweight pyramid. And then I have a taller, or what they call a Kepler pyramid, which is the meditation pyramid. This is just fantastic for meditation. I have a few of those left, quite a few actually. And I just want to tell you what's in them. So clear quartz, amethyst, aquamarine, ametrine, azurite, chalcopyrite, emerald, and sodalite. And the metals included are silver, bronze, black steel, copper, and aluminum. And what you can't see by looking at the image is there's a double terminated clear quartz crystal in the center, standing up in the very, very center, that also amplifies everything. It's just a super powerhouse of an orgone generator, that one for sure. And then I have all kinds for all different kinds of spiritual beliefs and mostly sacred geometry. This one has a beautiful clear quartz angel inside with black tourmaline. This is a very similar one, black tourmaline, but this just has the clear quartz point. This is beautiful. This one here is black tourmaline with amethyst. I've got a few of these rainbow pyramids, and the pure heart, which is black tourmaline and turquoise. These are all the medium-sized ones. And and this goddess one is the only pyramid I have that instead of charging it in the sun, you actually charge it in the moonlight. So when there's a full moon coming up, put it on your windowsill or put it outside. It's got angelite and rainbow moonstone in it. Very, very beautiful and very, very powerful for female energies. For older people or for babies, the tender love has the rose quartz and the smoky quartz. It's a beautiful combination. And then the springtime joy, I actually created this. I create and design these, and then my friend makes them for me. And this one has citrine and amethyst, and it's just so beautiful for uplifting your mood and helping you to feel more joyful. And so that's then I also have some small pyramids left, and check the dimensions. Some of them are a little bit bigger than others, all different kinds. This is a really popular one. I'm almost sold out of these. This is peridot with a clear quartz point. Absolutely gorgeous. And I have a small pyramid for each of the chakras. So whatever chakra you're needing a little bit of extra help with, having one of these orgone generators placed by your bed, and certainly have some around your technology, your computer, or where you rest your cell phone would also be a really, really good idea. So that's the shop. I just gave you a little tour. The free resources I'm not going to go into individually today, but you can take a look at them. There's a playlist of lots of videos, or I should say podcasts on about orgone and orgone generators. And then, of course, there's the Quantum Health Transformation free online course. There's the Health and Vitality podcasts, social, spiritual podcasts, Quantum Guide Show, and more. I have a new show out for those of you who haven't seen it. Please do. Clicked on it. There we are. Aliens and Astrology, my brand new show. So Convergence is a radio show I was doing. So it's a serial show. Forbidden Transformation with Karen and Chris. That's Chris Matthew from Forbidden Knowledge News. We did a show together for a while. There's the Quantum Guide Show. We're now coming up to our 80th episode. So that's my longest playing show. And then now we have Aliens and Astrology with Dave Petrella as my co-host. And then I also have links and resources. I have the Fringe View podcast, which is all about ETs and anything strange and amazing. I've got my YouTube appearances, which is all the places that where I have been guest on different shows in the past. So that's where I'm in the other seat, where I am actually the guest, and I get to talk about all my amazing experiences and the things that I've learned. There's a Quantum Health blog that unfortunately I have not added to for a while, but it's still very beneficial. I've got all my audio podcasts here, my published articles, and my video podcasts here. And my published articles are from Sybil magazine. And I had a full page article in once for each month of 2016. So these won't link you to the direct magazine, but they will link you to my to the articles that I wrote. And so that's about it for my website. And I'm going to stop the share now. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for the Quantum Guide Show and for looking into the Quantum Health Transformation Program, Step 8. And we've got a guest next week. It's a surprise guest. It's somebody that I've been really looking forward to have on the show, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. You got to come back next week and find out. It's we're going to cover quite a bit of information, so it'll probably be a two-parter. The first half will be out next week, and the second half will be out the week after. But it's a great way to start off August with a pretty cool guest. All my guests are cool. Please don't get me wrong, but this guy here, I really get a kick out of him. So I'm really glad to have him on my show. So you have to come back next week and find out who that is and what we're going to talk about. But I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So thank you again for joining me on the Quantum Guide Show. I had to think about which show I was on. A Quantum Guide Show. Much love and light to all of you. Hope you have the best week ever and take good care of yourselves. It's your job and it's worth it. And you can do it. I believe in you.
Thank you for joining us for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to Karen's YouTube channel, click the like button, and share this show with your friends. Check out Karen's website at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. All the links are available in the description box below. Until the next time, keep up the good work.
Splendor into endlessness puts all my inner strife to rest. For time gives birth to hurriedness. It all makes sense, well, more or less. And the sages put me to their test. With heart and soul to do my best to find the answers to my quest. I wonder and I must confess, I don't know